Welcome back to my channel. My name is Burgerella and today I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Odyssey was the first game I ever platinumed, and that was in 2021. I'd never really been interested in trophies until one day I looked at my trophy list and realized I was 80% done, so I decided to go for the platinum. I decided I would go back and play Odyssey on my other 2 accounts so I could get the platinum 3 times. Now, it probably doesn't make sense to anyone why I'd want to play, or even platinum a game 3, 4, or even 6 times. It's really easy to rate the platinum experience if you've played the game once, but playing multiple times means that I really have nothing better to do, so please let me play my games. I want to talk about the journey, the experience, and the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations of accomplishing such a pointless task. It was really difficult playing the 3rd time, and it took my internet dying to get me to finish the game. This is technically the game that got me into trophy hunting in the first place, so it's obvious that I already like the game. I think on my original account I have something like 375 hours in the game, which is actually insane numbers. Regardless of that, I do enjoy the game, and I don't think the platinum is difficult at all. Also, important to bear in mind that I played this game on easy because I honestly don't like a challenge. The first time I played this, I didn't realize you could change level scaling, so the 2nd and 3rd time playing, I was on easy peasy mode. To some people it might cheapen the value of the platinum, but some of us have the reflexes of a 90-year-old. Unfortunately, not all trophy hunters are created equal. I don't think there will be spoilers in this video, but if there are, then I apologize in advance. I don't really want to talk about the story because it's probably the most boring thing about this game. I usually don't expect much from Assassin's Creed story-wise, so I never really get disappointed. The worlds they make will sometimes make up for the mediocrity of the story. In order to get the first 9 trophies, you'll need to complete the main story, which surprisingly isn't that long, but the chances of getting sidetracked are high. The first time I played the story, I don't remember being surprised at any point and being wowed by anything. When I played it the 2nd time a few years later, I actually thought the story was worse than I originally remembered. And the 3rd time I played it, I skipped every cutscene and dialogue so I could get through it as quickly as possible. The story being boring doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the game somehow. Maybe because it's only a small part of the game and you could spend hours playing without doing a single story mission. You probably won't get the whole story done without getting a bunch of the other random trophies you need along the way. There are a few trophies to do with upgrading the Adrestia, which is your ship. Also having specific lieutenants or all-female crew and cleave a ship in half. Upgrading the ship is probably the most tedious task. The first time I played, I didn't have an issue because I had played for ages and got all the things I needed to upgrade. The 2nd time, I would never have enough wood and would have to constantly buy it from the blacksmith. I learned that wood was very important to have, so the 3rd time I played, I grabbed every tree I could and bought wood from every blacksmith. Only to find out I didn't have enough ancient tablets because I didn't bother finding different places to collect them. Long story short, I didn't find an effective way to get this trophy quick because I was low on one resource or the other. It is pretty helpful to upgrade your ship as much as possible because some of the fights at sea can be pretty intense and you will sink if you're like me and never brace for attacks. There's a trophy for doing the conquest battles. You need to win one other than the story-related one at the start. These are pretty good ways to get XP and some money. You'll also have to do a few to get all the cultists, so you'll get this one early on. You will need to take out a nation leader with low resources. You have to make sure the bar is empty before you decide to attack to make sure the trophy pops. The arena has 2 trophies connected to it. The first one is to defeat a mercenary, and the next is to become the champion of the arena. You will need to be on or around level 50 to get the champion of the arena trophy. The arena battles are actually surprisingly fun and can be a bit of a challenge. I usually leave these trophies until near the end because I'd rather do all 5 matches in one go than keep returning as I level up. There is a trophy for reaching level 50, so once you get that, you can go back to the arena and beat all the champions in one go, like I did. Another 2 trophies are for completing contracts and bounties from the message boards. You'll need to complete 20 from any message board and 20 from specific islands. When I play, I just go to message boards and accept every contract because most of the time you complete them as you go. There are a few trophies to do with your gear and weapons. I'm not sure which edition I had, but I started the game with some legendary armor and weapons, so I got that trophy in the beginning. And I just engraved the starting legendary weapon I had, so I got that one at the beginning too. If I didn't have the legendary sets, I'm guessing it would have been a more difficult task, but I already had them, so I will take the easy wins. You'll have to meet your real dad, and he will give you full quests to complete. You will get a trophy for just meeting him. You have to defeat 4 mythical creatures. The Sphinx is the easiest because you don't need to fight and it's just a word puzzle. The second time I played, I didn't pay attention and got the answers wrong, and it doesn't turn into a fight, you just get insta-killed. The Cyclops is the next creature you have to defeat. I don't remember dying to this one, but it is a pain when he stomps because you are on your ass before you can get any hits in. The Minotaur is the next one, and it's definitely not a difficult fight, but for some reason I'm always really scared of it. Even after doing it 3 times, I still feel scared. The Medusa fight is the worst of the 4. I remember the first time I played, I died at least 5 times, and I was so close to rage quitting. It did get dicey at times because if you get too close, she will pull a knife out. She also has the stone eye beam, which slows you down if she catches you. Even though some of these fights are difficult, I definitely think they are really fun when you aren't constantly dying. There are 5 trophies for completing questlines for specific people. You do have to do an Olympic questline, which is part of the story, so hard to miss that one. The Daughters of Artemis quest is probably the longest of these side quests you need to complete. The first time I played it, I hated the farting boar. I died so many times to this boar. The second time I died about 3 times, and then the third time I beat it the first time super fast. It nearly pissed me off how quickly I beat it because of how much I suffered all the other times. The other animals you have to fight are pretty easy, and you have to fight the leader at the end. The other quests are short and fairly easy to find. I did need to use a guide for Xenia's quest because I'm terrible at reading maps. There are 2 trophies to do with the cult. One of them is to defeat an entire cluster of cultists. The other one is to defeat all of the cultists. There are quite a lot of them, so this one does take a while. Plus, some of them are nation leaders, so they can be quite difficult to take out. Some of the cultists are on ships, and they will have epic ships, so you can get a trophy for that too. Once you defeat all the cultists, you can upgrade your spear to level 6, which is another trophy. You also need a level 5 spear to unlock a tier 3 ability, which is another trophy. Next, you'll need to spend a night with another character. I'm pretty sure every time I got this trophy, it was Alcibiades that I spent the night with, because it's basically just in the story, and I just picked the easy one. I personally don't flirt with anyone in this game for some reason. You will need to perform an overpower attack on every weapon plus the bow. It took me ages to figure out the first time that you needed to use the bow as well. You have to get a specific ability to use the overpower attack on the weapons and a separate ability for the bow. The last trophies are for completing all the underwater objectives and to unveil all sub-regions of Greece. The first time I played, I thought I had to go to every single question mark on the map, only to find out all you need to do is defog the whole map. The only annoying part is there's a specific tiny island that you need to walk on for it to count. The underwater objectives aren't too bad, but there are a lot. I did use a guide to find some of them because they can be hidden pretty well. You do need a key for one of the chests, but it's fairly easy to find that quest. So that's pretty much it on the trophies. I do think it's pretty easy to platinum. Not even too difficult to do it 3 times. On PSN profiles it gives a 3 out of 10, which I think is fair, and says 70 hours. I honestly can't remember how long it took me the first time, but the second time it took me 64 hours, and the third time it took me 41 hours. Before I give the rating, I want to give a little review from my perspective. Even though the story isn't the best, it does make you travel all over the map in order to complete all the quests. Some might say the map is too big, and even I was surprised at the size when I started playing. I think because a lot of it is ocean and it's not as big as it seems. The world feels alive and there's always something going on, which I like in a game. The combat is definitely one of the highlights of this game because there's nothing more fun than having a 20-person brawl in the middle of a crowded street while racking up a bounty. There are so many side quests to do, and if you also have the DLC, you will have hours and hours more content on top. They never rush you in this game, which I like. You could do a main mission and spend the next several hours doing side quests and it won't make any difference. There's always something to do and it can be overwhelming thinking about what you need to do, especially when you're doing a platinum run. One of the things that I didn't like in this game is that using the horse to get places would take ages because half the time it is just really slow. For some reason the horse just hates running and I haven't found a button to speed it up. As much as I love the combat, the game doesn't feel like it's built for stealth. Every time I've tried to be stealthy, I've failed. Now this could be a complete skill issue, but I've just found it difficult to be stealthy. Not to mention the fact that it's not as fun as fighting a bunch of people at once. I think overall it's just a fun game. It's not winning any prizes for the story, but it's still very fun to play. For the burger rating, I think I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 burgers. Playing it in 2024, I think it does show its age a little bit, and there were some random bugs and glitches. I'll add a clip of one I managed to catch that was funny.
This area will be well defended.
The game did crash a few times, which probably happened because I'm playing on PS5. That's not to say that the game isn't really beautiful, especially for the time. I know the whales jumping out of the ocean are completely random, but I did catch a cool clip when I was synchronizing a location. If you've made it this far, I want to say thanks so much for watching. I'm hoping to start a Lucky Dip backlog busting series in the near future. I have my next video planned, but I just need to finish the game twice more. Sorry for the long gap between videos. I want to post more consistently, so I'm going to try my best to post every month, or hopefully more. I'm always open to feedback, so don't be afraid to let me know what you think. Sorry in this video, I am actually a bit ill. Again, thanks for watching and I hope to see you again soon.